In this model, we learn about what is the scope of analysis, how we can set up scope of analysis, how we can drill into the report, like from high level to low level, how we can drill to get more details. What are the drilling options, drill down, drill up, and drill by, how to set preferences for drilling, and the impact of scope of analysis on performance. The scope of analysis determines the number of levels the user can drill down on a hierarchy, even if the lower levels are not selected by the user as part of the report. So there are some hierarchical objects in our database, like country. Under country, there will be a state. Under state, there will be a city. Under city, there will be a store name. So this is a hierarchy. So if our report is only having country date in the results object, but if we put the scope of analysis level to 3, and if we enable that, then we can go like in drill mode. If we enable that scope of analysis in query panel, even though if we don't include other objects like state and city, we can drill down to that level to see more detailed information. So predefined, the scope of analysis is same for each dimension in the report. If you set the scope of analysis at 2 levels, each dimension in the report will contain additional data 2 levels down. So even, for example, year, quarter, month, it is also one hierarchy. So if we select year in the result object, and we selected 2 levels in the scope of analysis, and we don't have any quarter in the result object also, we can drill down to that 2 levels in the report for our analysis purpose. So that is about scope of analysis. Scope of analysis levels, if you see here, this is the level and the description. If we put the level as none, only the objects that appear in the result object pane are included in the query. So if you put that as a none, if you only have a state object in the result object, sorry, country object in the result object, only that will be appeared. So state and city will not appear. If we put 1 level down for each object in the results plane, 1, 2, or 3 objects, like 1 level down, it will give us 1 object level down, 2 levels down, and 3 levels down. So the hierarchy trees are included in the query. The data from these objects is stored in the cube until you add them to the document. Custom, all objects added manually to the scope of analysis panel are included in the query. If you see here, this window is a scope of analysis. So here we have enabled it. Here scope level none. That means whatever we include in the report, they will only appear, like state, city, store name. Year we have included, so only year will be there, as the scope of analysis is none. If you put to 1 level, 2 level, automatically, if you don't include in the result objects also, it will come in the query. Drilling down is a process of analyzing the data from summarized level to detailed level, like from country to state. If you want to drill down to the report, like drilling down is a process of analyzing the data from summarized level, means high level to detailed level. Drill up is the reverse of it, like from low level to high level. It enables the users to analyze the data from different dimensions and different level of details. It happens based on the default hierarchy or objects defined in the scope of analysis pane. So drilling can happen in the same report or in the duplicate report. Drill down enables you to go down to lower levels. Drill up enables you to go to up to higher levels. Drill by is used to explore data by other dimensions that exist in the document, but that are not currently displayed in the report. So if you see here, drill down report. So we have to set up the scope of analysis in the query panel. After that analysis, here drill is there, right? So we have to enable it here. So once we enable, we have a query report filter on the year 2004. So as we have enabled the drill and the report is based on quarterly sales revenue, if we click on quarter, it will go to the year drill up button. So if you see here, the arrow is up. So if we click on this hyperlink or here, it will drill up. So similar way, drill down will also be there. But there are some performance issues connecting to this. Like if we really require this functionality, then only we have to use. Otherwise, it will impact the performance of report if we use unnecessarily multiple times. Like including scope of analysis will slow down report generation or refresh process. Multiple levels for scope of analysis in a document increases the document size significantly. So this is because the data necessary for the defined scope is saved with the document, even though it is not visible in the reports. Like if we don't want to see for months also, if we set up the scope of analysis like year, quarter, month, and if you are only seeing for quarter also, the data will be saved for months also, even though it is not visible, the query is executing for months also. So it will impact the performance of the report. So in order to minimize the size of documents and optimize the performance, it is recommended to only include a scope of analysis in documents where we are certain that users will need to drill. In this module, we learned about these things like what are the options and how we can set up. So let's do the activity 5. Data sync using 2 different data providers. First, create a document using eFashion Universe. Build a query that shows sales revenue per state. So let's go to here. Now we have created one report using eFashion Universe and we took these objects. So if we want to add another data provider, like if we want to merge with other objects in other universe also, we have to follow the same thing. But here sales revenue per state, right? So I'll show you like how you can add a query like from other universe or from the same universe, how we can merge two queries. I'll show you now. Like now we need quantity sold by state.
The PowerPoint is still the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint comes up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we had a state for sales revenue, and now we want a quantity per state. So for that, what we can do is I am just showing the example of how we can add a query. If you see here, add query. It is useful when we have a multiple data sources. And if you want to merge based on a common thing, we will use. But for our purpose, we will select the same eFashion. But in this case, if requirement is like we have to use other also, we can do the same procedure. State, quantity sold. Quantity sold by state, run both the queries so that a new table is inserted in the existing report. Synchronize the data so that it can display both sales revenue and quantity sold per state in a data block. So I'll run queries. Okay. So what we do is it is asking where do you want to include that new data? Insert a table in a new report. Do you want to add in a new report or in the current report? Or include the result objects in the document without generating a table. Like if you want to include the objects in the left pane and you don't want to include in the table, you can use this option. So right now we will select second option. So now we have two tables, state, sales revenue, state, quantity sold, but we have one common object. We will synchronize our merging happens when we have a same matching primary key or same column, which is useful for joining. So here we have a state as a similar, state as the same column. So based on this, we can merge these two tables into a single table. So we can merge the objects from two data providers into single report if we have a common matching column in between the two tables. So what we can do is we will see here arranged by alphabetic order. We will put it as a query. And you see here, these two are same thing. So just select them and click on merge. So merge happened. This is the merged dimension. So if you see here, state, take the sales revenue from here and quantity sold from here. So if you see here, we have merged based on the common dimension, and in that way we can see objects from different data providers into a single table. So this is the purpose and functionality of merging and how we can combine multiple data providers into a single report. It is by using this merge option. So, but we should always remember that to merge two data providers, we should have same we should have one column which is matching column. It should have a same data type, or it should definitely have a same data type. Even though if the names are different, the data type should be same and the objects should be same, so that we can merge based on that common dimension, and we can include the all result objects in a single table. So this is about merging activity multi-data provider, we can say. So let's save this as we are done with that activity. Now let's go to other activity, managing and sharing the interactive analysis document. It is like a sharing options that we can keep it for now, because it is just like as we have done already, we can change the document from one folder to another folder. Like in the first activity only, we have done like we copied from public folder to our personal folder. So that time we did this. Okay. So this is about our we will do this activity. Yesterday we didn't do this because of time constraint. So we'll do this today. Now, can you see this activity to formatting charts?
Yes.
Okay, let's do this now. Create a new query with quantity sold, state, and year. Add a query filter to the state object for California, Colorado, and DC. We will have this state object in list, values from list, California, Colorado, DC. So by default, we got this table. Get a column chart from report element, select region color as year. Column chart template from report element. Instead of that, we can turn this into also column chart. Turn into column chart. Region color as year. So when I applied region color, so based on the as year, so this is like blue is 2014, orange is 2015, likewise, it gave. For California, Colorado, DC, this is the quantity sold by state and year. We can format the chart by using these options like go to format chart, global, general, adjust the width as 11.8 and height as 8.4. Format chart, general. .8 and 8.4. Go to legend properties, make legend visible. Legend, make, yeah, it is visible. And go to format chart, global, general, remove the axis names, state and quantity sold. Category axis, display axis. Add chart title as column chart. Title is visible. Custom title. column chart. Title we will put in the middle. Apply. Came up in the middle. Give border to title. Add border to chart. Border. Let's add plain black border. So let's copy this. Paste it here. And we can see some more format options. If you want a 3D look, you can apply. You see here, the look is changed into 3D. Copy this. Just to show the differences of several options, I am copying and pasting again. See here, this is somewhat different shadow effect and all. With some other color palette, we can apply. So in this way, we can change our data into charts in a more visualized manner, and we can play with several formatting options based on the requirement. It's about charts. We can turn this into more transformations, and we can put this is a 3D column chart. So we have several options to do our visualizations based on our requirement. We can always use based on our business logic and requirement. So let's save this as okay. These are several other chart options. So it is about the chart. So we actually covered all our maybe basic concepts like charts, table types, and rules, how we can apply conditional formatting. I'm just recapping what we have done, how we can create new variables. How we can apply multiple prompts. Let's come one by one what we have covered. How we can share the documents. What are the features available, like in the toolbar, what are all the options available? What are the types of data sources? How we can build a query using query panel. So this query panel has these windows like result objects, which we include the objects which we need for reporting here. And if you want to filter out with some objects, then we can use that in query filter. And we can use this data preview option to see how the data is getting generated, so that once we are okay with this, we can run the query. And this option, the last one, is a view SQL. So whatever the objects that we pull into the report, there will be always be a background SQL getting generated. So we can always see that SQL and compare in our database side, but it is only applicable when we are using relational databases as sources. So if you are using cubes or OLAP, like like Bex queries and all, this option will be disabled. These are the different query properties. How we can optimize query performance using these options. How we can add document level filters and types of document, like predefined, which are defined at the universe level. User defined are the defined at the query level. So if you see this yellow funnel, this is a predefined filter in the universe level. This is the user defined document filter. If we just enter something, it will be a static prompt. If we give a user to, if we give the option to user to enter whenever he is refreshing, that is called as a prompt, and it is a dynamic in nature. How we can create prompts and the prompt properties. And we have a mandatory prompts and also optional prompt also there. Like if you see here, if you check this under prompt properties, if you check this as an optional prompt, so you can give values or you can skip and run the report. So if you don't check this option, it is always a mandatory prompt. How we can apply multiple prompts and how we can use and or. These are the different options that, as I just tell you. And these are after working on query or document level filters, these are the report level filters inside, which are available inside for our reporting layer. So we can add different filters for different blocks inside a single report also. What are the types of tables available, like vertical tables, horizontal tables, cross tabs, forms. This is an example of vertical table. This is a horizontal table. It is a cross tab where we have objects in the left side and the top header section also, but body represents the measures. This is called as a cross tab. And these are called as the forms, which are mostly dealing with the text data, which are, for example, like address or ID card. This is the panel and the options available in the web intelligence. Like these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 windows, and for each one, what is it like? First one is a document summary. It will list when is the report created, when it was last refreshed, when it was last modified, who modified this. So everything related to that will be summarized in the document summary tab. Report map is like it will show the structure of the report, like how many tabs are there inside each tab, how many blocks and how many tables are there. It will show us. Input controls are like filters inside. These are also one kind of filters. Web service publishers, available objects, document structures. How we can add tables to reports. How we can duplicate them, just copy paste. How we can turn tables into different tables or charts. We can move the columns or swap the columns. We can remove the table by clicking on right clicking and delete, or we can just delete. It is about page header and footer. How we can add images for headers like logos and all. How we can work with variables, formulas, and functions. How we can create variables. We already checked like margin by if we don't have any object which is not, if we need some object which is not available from the universe or database level, we can create variables in our reporting layer and we can consume them for our reporting purpose using by creating variables. And these are the function categories which Webby supports, like aggregate functions like minimum, maximum, sum, average, character functions like substring, length, position, date and time functions, document functions. So these are the kind of functions available for the creation of variables. After that we have checked like how we can create sections, how we can create breaks, and how we can create rules for conditional formatting. How we can sort the data by ascending or descending or custom sorting. How we can copy paste from one tab to other. After that, we have covered what are the types of charts available in in Web Intelligence and how we can create them. Like bar chart, column chart, surface and line chart. This line chart is like a point-wise chart. Surface is a filled up one. Pie charts, point and radar charts. So how we can create charts or how we can turn table into charts. We have covered this. How we can remove it is just like how we can remove the tables. It is the same procedure. These are the several formatting options of the charts. To that we have covered how we can analyze data by using scope of analysis. What is the purpose of it and what is meant by hierarchy and how we can set up this here. Let's see one example for this. You see here, this is the scope of analysis panel. Currently, it is not showing up here. So we have to see here, it is the hidden one. If you click on this, it will be appeared here. Currently, the scope level is none. If I put the level to 3 level, so that's why it is showing only state, as I have included state in the object. So if I put 3 level, it automatically came up state, city, store name. Now I will run the query. It is normal. We can't see any hyperlink or a drilling symbol here. So to show that, we have to first enable that drill mode. Analysis, drill, start drill. Drop objects here to add simple report. If you just click on this, if you just mouse over on this California, it will say like, if you click on this, it will drill down to city. So all the cities which are inside California, we can see the data for that. So these two are there. And if I click on this, it will drill down to store name. So if I want to drill up, I can again drill up to state level. So this is for this is the example of how we can drill up and drill down for our detailed analysis. If there is any requirement like this, we can set up the scope of analysis for hierarchical object in the query panel, and we have to enable this drill mode, and we can consume it. So if you are not going to use, if whenever we click, it will go. If you don't want to go also, it will go if you just click by mistake. So that can be avoided by using again. So it stop drill. So if I click also, nothing will happen. I have stopped drill. So this is about drilling. Let me save as. But it is always you have to remember that this scope of analysis or drilling is only possible for the objects which has hierarchy. So even time period also will have hierarchy. If I select this, so 3 level I have put. So for year also, year, quarter, month, week. So for state we only have until store name as a objects, but for year we have until week. So if I drag year, and if I enable, otherwise I'll drag into another report, year, sales revenue. So if I enable drill mode, see here, if it will show us a tooltip like drill down to quarter under 2014 Q3 Q4. Week. Even this is also changing for week wise and all. So if you see, this is 70,777. If I drill up to month, monthly, weekly, it was 70,000 change. Monthly, it is 3,92,000. If I drill up to quarter, it is changing to 8 lakh change. So it's about drilling activity.